Plot twist. Are you sweating? She sends a text meant for her best friend to her boss. And then,
And then he calls her out for a date. How this was so lame. No, for embarrassing her. I would not rewrite it subtly because Soumya is a very melodramatic character and she's been made that way. So I had to make her this drama queen. So there is nothing subtle about her. When I came across this particular fact and this I did not know, I really had to bring it up in a book, and that culminated in The Shadows and Secrets, this whole thing.
hey, I'm Tanvi. Welcome to another guest episode of Pages and Beyond podcast show. Today I'm joined by Harini Srinivasan, a former public servant, an author, editor, and writing mentor. Hi Harini, how are you doing today?
Hi Tanvi, I'm very good. Thank you very much. How are you?
I'm also good. Thank you for joining me today. Before we move ahead, let me tell you what we are going to have in this conversation. In this episode, we are going to talk about her journey and we will focus on her book, Love Struck and Confused. Before we dive into our conversation, why don't you talk about your transition from a structured career as a civil servant to the creative world of writing?
Okay. Uh, I won't call it a complete transition because I've had a structured career, maybe not in the civil services, but in the private sector till around a few months back. So let me just take you through my journey.
Yeah.
I have a master's in English literature, following which I started off as a senior copy editor with Encyclopedia Britannica, and then I got into the government service. I'm a former civil servant with nearly 4 years of experience in
Wow.
Ministry of Defense in the civil services.
Nice.
Post that, I moved to Germany where I did a master's in business administration and got into the private sector, where I have worked as a program management and a content management professional in the space of in industries and sectors like e-learning, publishing, and also the non-governmental space for nearly 2 decades. My last stint was as head of content at Aptech till some months back. I now have I'm a publishing consultant. I mean, I have my own consultancy where I mentor people to write their own books and help them get published. Besides, of course, continuing with my editing journey. So as I said, it hasn't really been a transition. I've had a structured career throughout, but being an English literature graduate and a postgraduate, as well as the fact that I'm a voracious reader, I always wanted to write because I love books. So the author part is like a realization of a childhood dream. And I've been very lucky that has also continued side by side.
So, which has been your favorite part out of in this transition? Which part you enjoy the most?
Writing, of course, because it's a passion.
No, not just writing for like as a career or for the books.
I write my own books. So I don't see writing as a career. So the moment you say what's your career, I probably will pick up another content management kind of a job or a project management job. That's my career. But writing and being an author is like a dream come true, and it's a passion
Passion project,
project, if you can
basically.
say so.
How has your career as a civil servant helped you become a better storyteller, or how has it enhanced your storytelling skills?
Okay. See, everybody thinks that becoming an author or becoming a storyteller or a writer is a very creative thing. Yes, there are creative elements involved in it. But what most people don't see is that the act of writing a book requires extreme commitment and discipline and dedication. And
Dedication.
that's where my experience or my journey in a professional space has impacted. Because even, maybe if you're just talking about the civil services, now civil services exam, to get through that exam requires extreme rigor, extreme hard work, and the same attributes are useful while writing a book as well. The amount of intensive study, and exposure that you need to get while preparing for the particular exam, the civil services exam, is similar to the kind of research that I have had to do in my books, because I write historical fiction.
Yes.
So when I'm writing historical murder mysteries in an ancient era, in say 500 or 5th century or 400 AD, obviously that requires a lot of research, and those very skills that I probably used in my career. And I mean, as a working professional, Tanvi, you need to be extremely disciplined in
Extremely
your
disciplined in your
workplace. You
workplace.
cannot just slack off saying, okay, I'm not feeling creative today and hence I'm not going to write.
I'm not
Yeah, I'm
going to
not
do
going
any
to
work.
do any work. That's not so the same attributes then just get shifted here, except that here I'm doing something more enjoyable than what you would probably do, what I would probably do it at my workplace.
Workplace. But there are days when we actually don't do anything and then we like race up to complete our task in our workspace as well. So does that happen with your
Yeah,
writing?
yeah, it does. Because what happens is, while you write every day, not every day, I mean, well, I write every day, not every day the output is 100%.
True.
And believe it or not, there are some deadlines that happen for the in the publishing world also. Maybe not that intensive as something like a project deadline at work would be, but you know that you have to finish this. And you would have written, I mean, it has happened to me many a time. In fact, I have a children's book, or rather a teen young adult book coming out next month, and that's
Wow.
also in the space of history. And I had the same thing. I mean, I had written part of the story and I was just not satisfied with it, and the deadline was coming closer. I had to submit it by a particular date. Then of course there's that thing, okay, you delete that stuff and then you race towards the deadline. It does happen, yes.
So I have questions related to these kind of stuff, like where you have to delete a part. So we will go ahead with them.
Sure.
But before that, I want to ask you, you have written everything from historical mysteries to rom-com. Was it challenging or fun to shift between genres? How do you switch between narrative genres?
I love it. And I think I write these two things because it gives me, like, see, as a reader, one doesn't restrict oneself to just reading one type
One
of
type of
books,
book.
right?
True.
So I believe that as a writer, as an author, why should I restrict myself to just one type of books? And but actually, the way my rom-coms came about there's a story behind it. Like, I started off with historical fiction. Historical fiction requires a lot of research.
True.
So there are, and early in my writing journey, I had been given a very good piece of advice which I try following even today. I had been told that no matter what, write daily. Consistency is key.
Yeah.
So because consistency is key, and I have kind of set a target for myself that every day, even if it is said 500 words, I try to put those 500 words to paper. But I write every day. Now, what happens when you're researching for a historical book? There are days that you know that you're deep inside the research, right? You're studying a lot. Those days you can't really start writing because you're just reading up about the time period. There is no plot in mind, there's no story in mind. So at that time, I started writing the rom-com, because for rom-com, the amount of research is much lesser.
And it's
So,
about the
so I would get
surrounding.
my 500,000 words card, the deadline, my output. I would meet the target writing the rom-coms. So if you realize that's the way my rom-coms have come out also. You
Yeah.
have a historical book, then you have a rom-com. Then you have a historical book and then a rom-com.
Yeah, I saw that trajectory.
So that's the trajectory. But of course, I have a lot of fun writing rom-coms as well.
Yeah, actually, I have read your previous, The X Factor, as well earlier. If you remember, I have read that
Yes,
book as
thank
well.
you.
Like, I think that was the first rom-com I ever read in my life when I started reading, actually. What sparked the idea behind Love Struck and Confused?
It was a conversation. I had a conversation with a very good friend of mine, and this was years ago, maybe 5, 6 years ago. So it's not a new conversation. I mean, the book has taken that long, but the conversation was quite old. And she was just, we were just talking about some show that she was watching at that time, and it was on one of these Indian TV channels, I think Sony or something. And she said, and the plot was idiotic. Okay, I remember thinking, I mean, I was like, she was telling me, she says, I'm watching this show and this is what happens. This fellow falls in love with this girl or some plot, and it sounded absolute nonsense. And I was like, is it even possible? And that conversation led to it saying that what can be a most improbable plot line. So I said, see, typical Hindi film heroine will not go and fall in love with a pan masala fellow. That was the sentence I used. So then I said, okay, you know what? Let me subvert it. So that's what started the thing, saying, what if a young girl, a young professional who's some 25, 26-year-old, has a crush on a mugshot that comes. Now I could not make, and that then became Love Struck and Confused. So I took that sentence as the starting point for developing Love Struck and
It's
Confused.
like a single sentence just brought up the entire plot. That is one of the game that I'm going to have in the end.
The writers write that way. Often we come across something in the newspaper or something in uh, a show, and you're like, and then you start thinking, okay, what if, and then the whole story gets formed.
That's true, and I think that's the right way to go with it. Like whatever comes in, that flows, and then it evolves with time. The title of your book, Love Struck and Confused, it's so catchy. What brought it up?
Okay, I am my editor. This is all thanks to my editor and the editorial team at Om Books for the cover, for the both the cover and the title, because I'm hopeless at naming my books. Okay, I usually have all my drafts are either called New Book Version 1, Romantic Comedy Version 2, Dated So and So. So if you believe the original title of this thing of Love Struck and Confused sounds absolutely crazy. I had called it of Masala and Malarkey or something like that. It made no sense. Now, of course, thankfully, I have a very good editor, and this applies to all my books. The titles haven't been suggested by me
Oh,
at all. So, as I said, I'm hopeless at naming it. So, thanks to Shantanu and Sakshi for coming up with the title Love Struck and Confused.
yeah, literally, I've never heard of something like that. That was I was like,
See,
is it a story?
it's not a story. The
how it
reason
is.
the reason for the title is that there's a lot of confusion in the book. You've read the book.
Yes,
It is extremely confusing, and at
chaotic
the end, it
confusion.
is a kind of a love story. So, how do you call it? A confusing love story. It is a confusing love story.
Yeah,
So that's why I was like, okay, this lady, one person is confused and the other person is love struck. That was, I think, the idea. And
that
there
brought
were
the.
other suggestions as well, but I think I liked Love Struck and Confused the most.
Okay, what were the other suggestions?
Love in a Maze.
Okay.
I didn't like it. I
Of course,
preferred this.
but yeah,
So,
this
yeah,
is
this is
because it defines the plot line
it
itself, Love
defines the
Struck,
plot
and
line,
as
because
you mentioned,
ultimately the title has to relate to what's there inside the book,
book.
and a lot of cases, and I think if you start reading a lot of books, then we would have noticed it. There is no connection between the blurb, there's no connection between the story, and there's no connection with the title, and all these three are disjoint. And I think
Yes,
for it to kind of find its perfect reader, these three have to be connected,
connected.
because see, they're looking at the blurb to pick up the book, right? And you can't just have a blurb that completely misleads
Yes.
it.
Actually, this has made me hopeless about the blurb, and I have stopped reading the blurb. Rather, I prefer to go with the story, and I just try to relish that itself. And sometimes it happens, I read the blurb at the end. Oh, was it connected at any
In a
time?
lot of cases, you'll see that they're not. They're
Yeah,
trying to pitch a book as something else, and
something
that
else.
it turns out to be something else.
Yeah, that is happening a lot because I never trust a blurb, to be honest.
Because it's like a marketing pitch, right? But then somewhere the connection between the story and the
And the
blurb
blurb
is
has
getting
to be made.
lost. But
True.
here, of course, Love Struck and Confused, I'm very happy with the title because it directly relates to what's happening in the story.
Yeah, I've read the blurb, and yeah, it was same
The blurb
as
is also
what
the
was
same. Yeah,
the
the blurb.
story
Yeah.
inside the book. Were there any scenes that you enjoyed writing the most, or find it hardest to write, or you have removed any scenes from the story that did not make it into the book?
In Love Struck and Confused, no. All the scenes I've written have been retained. Yes, the language has been tightened, uh, but nothing really that I have not that I've had to delete.
Oh, that's wonderful.
But see, the deletions, if you want to know whether I have deleted stuff from my other books, yes. Shadows and Secrets. I have to tell you this: the Shadows and Secrets is the book that I'm closest to, simply because what you see today is the third rewrite.
Oh,
So I had written 50,000 words of the book that would ultimately become this, with the same storyline, which I've completely deleted and rewritten. And this has happened 3 times.
3 times is
Yeah,
huge.
because so if, in Shadows and Secrets, I have a whole list of scenes that I have purposely deleted and thrown out. But for Love Struck and Confused, it was very seamless. It was quite everything that I had written finds a
So,
place in
what
it.
was that fun part that you enjoyed writing in this book? Because there
The
is
whole
scene.
book, I had a blast writing it because it was a lot of fun. And I loved writing the epilogue. That's my personal favorite because I really wanted to close the loop as to how, if you've read the book,
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what happens.
yeah.
You want to know why and how he landed up there, right? So
So yeah,
I
that
think I
was like
liked in writing the epilogue very much. A scene that I enjoyed the most, a character that I enjoyed the most, who appears very briefly in the book, is the Bhojpuri, is the Bhojpuri
Bhojpuri.
filmmaker.
Yeah,
There
yeah,
is
yeah.
that particular scene in the plane where he's talking to Soumya and
Soumya
Nitin.
and Nitin. Yeah.
So I enjoyed writing about the Bhojpuri.
Actually, he had a brief impression in the book, but it made sense. Like that was something I would say that that was a funny part of the book because I had in this while reading this book, I had that inkling while I was reading the humor part was overshadowed by the emotional part. So was that deliberate at your end or how was it? Like because that was my honest opinion, which
That
came.
there was less humor.
Yeah, I just felt more emotional part in the reflections of the characters.
Oh, that's very nice because I don't think it was intentional. I wanted to write it as a funny book, and I think a lot of people have told me that there is humor. But if you're saying that the emotions have come through, then all the more
Yeah,
better,
because
no?
I can just imagine the faces of the people, like when the friend of that girl, I forgot the name of the girl, who was trying to protect her friend from Nitin, and when she came across the
Tanya,
reality, yeah, Tanya, when she came through the truth, and she was like, "Oh shit, what the hell? I have done this."
so
So
I'll take that as a compliment because sometimes when you're writing a lot of humor, the emotions don't come through.
yes.
The characters become caricatures. But
Hmm.
if you're saying that the emotions have been retained, I
Because
think my
that
job is
is
done.
yeah, that
My
is what
job is
that
done
I wanted to tell you personally.
because see the intention is not to laugh at the characters. The intention is to laugh with the
With the
characters
characters.
about the situations that they have landed up in. And
True.
if you think that's happened, my job is
Yeah,
done as a
definitely.
writer.
Because when I read that book completely, I was like, I took a lot of things from that book. Like, as I mentioned, it has emotions, it has reflections, it has humor. I'm not saying it
It
is
has
not
humor,
have
yeah.
because it is again a rom-com. But more than that, for me, it came out as an emotional drama and the self-reflections from the book. Because
It's also, in a way, it is a coming of age of a young girl because
yes,
Priya has a lot of complexes when she starts off with, and it's about her finding herself, right? So somewhere that theme was also going through, but
through
of
that.
course, it wasn't made. I mean, I wasn't consciously making it a serious book. It wasn't meant to be a serious book. It's a book
Yes.
that should bring a smile on your face at the end of it.
Yes,
That
it will brought a smile, of course, but yeah, again, that is something I was reading through about rom-com. Like there is sometimes happen humor and emotions can't go hand in hand. So in that scenario, I was thinking of like how I felt after reading this book. So I was like, oh my God, this has given me something else along with the rom-com theme. Rom-com have their own tropes, but how do you maintain the balance between the originality?
See, if you look at it, I mean, come to think of it, literature, all aspects of literature been have been covered by authors across the world, right? So there is nothing original that we are actually writing. All the stories
True.
have been told.
Yes.
It's about the way you bring in and the essence that you bring in as an author that sets you apart.
Hmm.
So tropes, yes, rom-com will have its set trope. There will be that. But how do I bring in the originality? What I do is I try to make the characters as authentic and as relatable, and that's where the originality comes in. If
True.
you as a reader, you know exactly, when you pick up, say, Love in the what is this? This is X Factor,
X Factor.
and or if you pick up Love Struck and Confused, you very well know that okay, Priya and Nitin will get together in the end. There is really no question that it's not going to
Yeah,
happen, right?
true.
You know that's going to happen. You know that there's going to be some kind of a conflict between them. These and you will have a meet cute. These are standard
Standard
things. You will
things.
find them in the book. But
Hmm.
how do you make that relatable? Do you have to have it in a very, if I were to suddenly show it in a ostentatious kind of a place, maybe that won't work. It's like trying to have this in a very normal and a
Normal space.
relatable setup.
Hmm.
So I saw Priya as a 26-year-old working in the e-learning edtech space, and I have worked in the e-learning edtech space. So I drew upon my own experiences there to say how would a typical e-learning organization function in India. So so the office part of it, if you realize, both in the X Factor and Love Struck and Confused, has the relatability.
Yeah.
This is Gurgaon of 2020, 24, 25.
Actually, I want to compliment you on that. Like, it felt like it is the real life of the office people going on. Like, two people meet and they say, like, this is happening in my office, and the other is saying, this is happening in my office. So, that was literally like relatable. And that turns out like it is happening somewhere. So, it
Yeah,
was
so
like that.
so that's what I think every author does, and I'm not saying I'm the only one who does it. When me, that's what sets a book apart from the rest.
This.
When the
Yeah.
person kind of imbues the whole situation, these tropes, however filmy they are, with some amount of realism and believable realism.
True, yeah, that is what I want to say. Like, everybody's writing, so there will be stories that are already existing,
All
but the
stories
way
do.
they are written
Yeah,
by a particular author, that makes more sense,
that
and
make,
that makes
that
books stand
gives,
out.
yeah, that's the sensibility of the author that comes in.
Comes in.
Otherwise, all the stories have been told.
Yeah, because at no point I was knowing like they will meet at the end, but at no point I felt like boredom or some sort of that thing. I was enjoying it thoroughly throughout the reading of that book.
You.
So, when I was reading this book, I had that thought as well. Like, if you get a chance to take your book for screen adaptation, so which format will you choose for it? Like OTT series or a
I think
film?
Love Struck and Confused
Yeah,
has the potential to be a film, but the X Factor, I would see it more as an OTT.
an OTT.
That's the Love Struck and Confused. I think it is a
It
film because
is
there's a lot of subplots happening. You have
exactly
Tanya's story, which can be expanded, even though it gets a very, the Tanya and the Gautam Bhatt love story is very shortly
very
taken
short,
care of,
and
right?
that took
But
very fast. Like that.
yeah, because I didn't want to focus on it. The
Yeah,
moment you bring in that, if I had started expanding on it,
and
then we lose focus on the
focus on the
original
original.
Priya
Yeah,
Nitin story. So I had to just, but then when you're making a 3 hour film, that can be given a little bit more footage. You have some very good characters. Sanjay Dhamija is a character who can come alive on screen. So will that Nirala ji, the Bhojpuri
Bhojpuri film.
filmmaker. Soumya and her shenanigans can also take up its space. So I think
I'm just imagining that South Indian family tantrums they are showing in the book itself. You have written historical mystery, you have written rom-com. Are you going to experiment with another genre, and which one it would be?
that's a tough question. I would like to write nonfiction at some point in time. Am I going to be good at it? I don't know. Am I going to enjoy it? I don't know. But if at all, that's the genre that I would be experimenting in. But otherwise, I think I found my niche. I like historical fiction. There's enough history to be written about. And if not mysteries, I could do a drama also, historical drama maybe. And then there is rom-com. Yeah, I
You can
guess.
also write like dramedy, like for a book.
I could. I mean, I haven't thought much about it because my next book that's coming out, as I said, is for young adults. So that's a little
Okay.
bit of shift, but that's also fiction. I think the major change is going to be if I ever attempt a non-fiction
Oh,
book.
okay. Because in non-fiction there are different sub-streams again, but people think of non-fiction like they will be a self-help book kind of, but there is a vast arena in
Yeah. I'm
non-fiction
not
itself.
looking at self-help. Perhaps something else which imparts some knowledge at the end of the day.
Exactly. Any myths about being an author that you would like to bust on this podcast?
Authors make a lot of money. Authors are these extremely creative and crazy people. No, they're quite boring actually. One needs to be really disciplined to become an author, is what I feel. I've heard a lot of people say, I mean, and maybe this applies to some full-time authors, that they write all day long, but it certainly doesn't apply to me because I have a life outside my writing. Writing is just a part of my life. I enjoy that this thing, so I don't sit and write for 10 hours a day.
Oh, that's wonderful. Like there are a lot of people who thinks they just keep authors in some specific categories. They just think they are the different world people in itself.
We're not as crazy as we are probably portrayed to be. I can tell you that we're quite normal. We have our quirks, yes. We tend to be very observant,
Yeah.
and if I can let out a secret about myself, I love going and sitting in cafes because I love to listen to people's conversations. So if you see me in in a cafe, you know what I'm going to be doing. I'm not going to be paying attention to what I'm doing. I'm listening to something.
Something and making it into my story, like bringing them
Yeah,
as a character.
and the whole this whole conception that you have that authors tend to pick on their friends and put them in the books and all. Very true. So think twice before you basically get on the wrong side of an author. You're going to be killed, at least in my books. You're going to be killed next.
Yeah, that's what for sure. Like whenever I'm writing a short story, most of the time I'll just pick an incident from my life. I just put some mirch masala in that, and I just change the plot twist. Whatever happened, I just exaggerate that.
Yeah, like there is a character in one of my historical fiction. Okay, I'm not going to tell you which one, and he gets murdered.
Okay.
And the name as well as the character, the kind of person he was based on somebody I was having a huge argument at work back in those days. I remember every day I would, get into all these office politics kind of a situation. You have these office confrontations, and I would be like, okay,
Now you
अब तो
see.
बच गया तो घर चल मैं घर जाके I will basically. So he got killed in my book, of course.
I am going to make sure that I leave with a good note so that I'm not one of your characters that is murdered.
No.
Since you have work in corporate space, so can we find any real life character in any of your book?
Actually, yes. So there's a very interesting story about the X Factor. I was working in a non-profit organization at
Okay.
that point in time when I had started writing, and I had not started writing it. In fact, the genesis of the book happened in office one day. So
Okay.
there's this colleague of mine whom I'm very fond of, and she walked in the office one day very flustered, and she immediately narrated something that happened to her, which was hilarious. And I remember telling her that day that I want to use this in one of my books. And that was the start of the X
X
Factor.
Factor.
And the person, and I've credited the book to her. Um, she is the inspiration for the X Factor, for Oindrila Roy in the X Factor. So
Yes.
Oindrila Roy is based on a real life person,
Okay.
not her life story. So that all is fiction, but the character. But there are some certain similarities. That way, if even in Love Struck and Confused, there are a couple of people who are similar to whom I have met in real life. But what happens to them? The flow of events is of course fictitious. Shadows and Secrets and Curse of Anuganga, other than that man who becomes one of the murder victims, the rest are all completely fictitious or characters. So nothing like that.
In fact, in Love Struck and Confused, also you have mentioned about that friend who was the inspiration behind writing that book, with whom you were discussing.
But
So
yeah, but that inspiration was this friend with whom I was having the conversation. It was more like we were discussing it. She doesn't come into the book.
yeah,
We were just talking about love stories, and then I would discuss when I was writing Love Struck and Confused. I would discuss the story, the plot with her, saying, "Does this sound outlandish enough?"
see, it shows like how it proves it again. Like authors can use any character, any surrounding, in any space in their book. So we have to be aware of our surroundings, and
Oh,
we are with the author.
definitely, because this is unrelated to the question, but I must talk about Shadows and Secrets here, because Shadows and Secrets, while I started writing with a story in mind, what happened was I stumbled upon, thanks to a friend, a very good friend of mine, about a cult called Manichaeans, which not many people have heard about. And this was a cult, a religious sect that lived between, say, around 3rd century to the 13th century. From the 3rd century to the 4th century, they were very much in vogue, very powerful in the entire region, the Persian region, Roman Empire. They were there until Christian. And then when in 391 AD, when Christianity became the religion, the official religion, these people started moving towards the east. And I found out that they had lived in India, in eastern India, in around the 5th century AD. And then they finally went off to China, where the religion exterminated. When I came across this particular fact, and this I did not know, I really had to bring it up in a book, and that culminated in the Shadows and Secrets, this whole thing. And I think
Now I'm intrigued to pick up that book.
historical research does that. You discover these new aspects, and then you build a story around that.
That's
So
amazing. With the X Factor released in mid 23, Shadows and Secrets in Jan 24, and Love Struck and Confused now in March 25, you have been on a creative role.
yeah, first a disclaimer: just because these three came on the back of each other doesn't mean that I wrote them all. The Shadows and Secrets was not written in 4 months; it was written in 2 years. And the X Factor, I mean, and Love Struck and Confused also did not happen in just 1 year. It was written in 2 years. So I take a lot of time, but the timing of the publishing doesn't depend on the author. A lot of people need to know that it also depends on your publisher, his publication schedule, and when it actually comes out. So there's a complete different thing. In these three books, I was lucky because they came back to back. But I know the struggle that I've gone through for writing it. Shadows and Secrets, I told you, I took my Curse of Anuganga came out in 2019. I started writing Shadows and Secrets in September 2019, and it came out in January
January 24.
2024. So you can imagine there was a 5 year gap between September 2019 and I think around January 2022. I had deleted two versions of the book. And at the same time, I was writing X Factor
X Factor.
side by side. Somewhere, Love Struck and Confused was also being written. So, so the schedule of when the book comes out is not entirely in your hands. Like I had submitted the draft in a particular time. Like X Factor, the draft had been submitted, I think, to the publisher a year and a half before it
Before
actually
it
got
actually got
published.
published. Yeah, that happens a
It
lot these
happens. So,
days.
so there are delays, and that's the part of the business. And I think a lot of youngsters these days and the ones who want to be authors, they're in this frantic hurry of when their books can come out. Luckily, I have not, because maybe it's my passion and because I'm fine. I'm not expecting my book to come out every two
Every
months
2 months.
or every 6 months. I was very lucky that these three came out quite in succession,
Succession,
which
yeah.
basically made me more visible to the reading audiences, because otherwise a gap kind of really makes a difference.
Difference, yeah.
But that's also because of my publishers. It has nothing to do with me. It's just
Yeah,
they
actually,
fit it into their
I
schedule.
see people like they think like, oh, this author is writing these many book quickly, but they don't understand the process behind the author is going
The
through.
author may not have written side by side. Like, see, Love Struck and Confused, when it came out in February, March this year,
March
I
25.
didn't, I mean, I had submitted it a while back to Om Books, and when they started editing it and all, I had to reread the story because I'd forgotten it. So that's what I mean. So it's not like I've submitted it today and it's coming out tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah, that I
It's
think
not.
that is not going to happen until unless like you are like particularly sure like this is the
You can
piece
do
that
that.
needs
No,
to
you
be.
can do that in if you want to self-publish.
Hmm.
I can schedule, if I were to
Yes,
self-publish, I can schedule my next 5 books, that this is when it's going to. That way, you have complete control in that
in
case.
that case,
But
yeah.
in the case of when you're giving it to, when you're traditionally published, the publisher also has
Other books
other
to them.
authors, other books to thing. They run with their publication calendar. It's about where you get fitted out there in their calendar.
How do you maintain momentum and avoid burnout across different projects?
Burnout. See, it's not like I've been writing these books, as I mentioned in my previous answer. What it is that I don't get burnt out, because for me writing is a happy exercise. I get burnt out at work. There are no annoying calls to be dealt with. It's my baby. So it's the research that I do and what I do, and then my writing, right? So there are days, I mean, there are weeks, there have been weeks, believe me, where I say I don't want to write anything. I'll just read. So those days I just read other books in the genre that I'm writing. So that way I maintain it. It's a pleasurable exercise. So no burnout here.
So doesn't that impact your writing when you are reading the books of same genre?
Yes, it does. But see, we all write. The more you read, if you want to be a writer, the first thing
We
you
have
need to
to.
do is you need to be able to read a lot, because that's how you can hone your craft. Your craft, you as a writer, if you're a serious author, your writing skills and your writing capability improves with each book.
Book, yeah.
And how that improves is just through reading other people. Because what happens, and somewhere that switch happens. Previously, I've always been a voracious reader. Previously, I would read like a reader. Now I read like a writer. So which when I say that, I'm thinking about, okay, what are the plot twists that she's doing? How has the author plotted this particular book? How is the narrative being described? How are the characters being developed?
Developed.
Is there a growth to the character from page 1 to page 10? Is the character believable? That's one thing. Then how is the phrase being, the words, the lyrical aspect of writing?
writing.
How does the author play with the words, the word play, and the way some sentence structure is being done. So these days when I read a book, it's not just the story, it's not the enjoyment that it gives. I also look at all these aspects.
Yeah,
So I
actually,
think
no, if even if you try not to be a writer while reading, some things like they bring your attention to that way. Like you are a writer, you can learn something from it. So these kind of things happen a lot. With that, I had fun getting insights from you. But before we wrap up, I have a fun game for you, and that is plot twist.
okay,
So in that, I'll describe a familiar rom-com scenario in one line or a typical plot setup. We have you have to add a twist in 10 to 15 seconds.
oh
It can
god,
be funny, dramatic, and unexpected. Anything, any way you want.
okay,
Yeah, are you sweating?
yeah, but not because of your plot twist, but because of the heat in Delhi.
Okay. The first one is she sends a text meant for her best friend to her boss, and then
And then he calls her out for a date. How this was so lame. My answer is very lame, but but this is such a common scenario, right?
yeah, you
I
have
mean, this
to make it unexpected, something twisty,
he starts stalking her
and then
and then kills her. So it doesn't become a rom-com, it becomes a horror.
horror. With
You
this,
know what could be a twist here?
yeah,
She sends this text to her best friend on 29th of May 2025, and that text reaches her boss on 29th May 2045, 20
okay,
years later,
okay,
because something went wrong there. And in the meantime, uh, maybe something has happened to this girl she's probably dead,
hmm.
the one who sent it. And then the boss remembers her and starts off trying to find out what happened.
And then he comes to her place and realizes she's already dead.
Yeah.
And then he
And then he
looks,
finds out because that particular text had something, some clue, because it was like a SOS for help,
yeah.
because that was sent the day she was being killed. My
Oh
God,
my God.
you wanted a rom-com and I think
That was hilarious. Like, I just loved it, the way we just crafted it. So, coming to the second, he proposes on live TV and she says,
no, for embarrassing her.
okay, the third one, they go on a fake date to make someone jealous and then,
Oh, and then they fall in love, because that's exactly what happens. They go on a fake date to make someone jealous and they succeed. They get married, these people then say tata bye bye and go back home forever.
it was amazing. It was amazing. But before we end, I want to take up the scene from your book, Love Struck and Confused. So there is this line, her Bharat cheating on her. That just didn't sit right. Soumya's reaction was intense and immediate. If you have to rewrite that moment with a subtle and more layered response, how would you go about it?
Let me see the scene, please, because it's been a while since I wrote the book. So,
I can just tell you like what
see,
happened.
it can't be, no, I remember that, but I would not rewrite it subtly, because Soumya is a very melodramatic character and she's been made that way. So, I had to make her this drama queen. So, there is nothing subtle about her.
Yes, she
And
is
she is the
melodramatic.
typical, I visualized her as somebody very loud, very bossy.
True.
Okay, she, as the eldest daughter of the house, she has everybody under her thumb, and she's a little crazy, and she's just herself.
She just do what she wants
She
to.
does what she wants to, and she doesn't really care about what this thing. And there is an element of natak in her. She's a drama queen. So this drama queen can do nothing subtle about her. So I will not rewrite it subtly because it goes against the grain of her
Way of a
character.
character, like the character will be completely changed if you rewrite that.
Yeah. So she had to go and confront him, and then she had to come back and then say, "I'm divorcing him. Go to hell." And then what did she do? She sat and watched TV.
Yeah, and just eating ice cream. That was actually, eating ice cream was common with two characters. Like when they were in stress, there was one more. I think Priya. It was a case of Priya who would eat just ice cream in stress.
Okay, this is autobiographical, so to say. I'm a stress. I eat a lot when I'm stressed. So I guess when I was writing this book, I was having office stresses, which and hence I was eating too.
Okay, but why did you choose just ice cream? Because I am also a stress eater, and I will just eat junk whenever I
Now
just
I
feel.
eat everything, junk also, yeah. But why did I choose ice cream when I was Soumya? Maybe because I don't know. I had to come up with something, right? Like,
Popcorn can also fit because she was just watching TV.
so what? Why not ice cream? Why should it be popcorn? It's a good question. I actually have no idea why I said ice cream. Maybe the day I was writing this scene, I wanted to eat ice cream.
Ice
That could be
that
it.
could be a
That
thing.
could
Yeah.
be the reason why ice cream came in. Or I could have been eating ice cream when I was writing this scene.
That was like a hilarious, chaotic, and heartfelt conversation with you. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much
so
for
much.
being here.
Thank you, Tanvi.
Before we wrap up, I would like you to tell about your experience of this conversation.
It was very interesting. Thank you. Um, as you know, all authors love talking about their books. So thank you very much for having me here and talking to me about Love Struck and Confused. And those of you who have not read Love Struck and Confused, do read it. It will definitely bring a smile onto your faces. But if you want something more historically
Historical.
intense or something, intense and a mystery, then do please pick up The Curse of Anuganga and Shadows and Secrets.
Yeah, I have read her two of the books, and I literally, like, truly love those books. So I can vouch for them, and you should definitely pick at least Love Struck and Confused for the starter. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, do follow our podcast and tag us while sharing the favorite moment from this. And if you also want to have a conversation with me just like her, so do check out the description for details. Stay tuned for the next episode.